Hello, hello. This is your host Tom Luong at 10earth.com. Check it out. That's my new landing page for my film studio or holding company, 10earth.com. Earths with an S. Anyways, what's the topic for today? Let me see. I think we are talking about living with schizophrenia. So, anyways, I found out about me about this condition I have when I was in the military, or after I was hospitalized in South Korea. I was in I was in the army at the time. I was 29, serving my 4 years in the army, hoping to get a lot out of it in the 4 years before going back to film school and then pursuing a film career. But yeah, I mean, I was sidebarred when I realized the military doctors were telling me, I have a schizophrenia form, and I have to take meds for the rest of my life. So I was devastated. I was in denial. I thought I was perfect. I thought God made me perfect. My parents didn't have this disease or mental health, or maybe they had something, but they never told me or told the family. Or my dad never told us anything. And he was still sharp, until the end in 2012. But yeah, so the military is helping me out right now, to compensate for my mental condition. So I appreciate that. Um, I can't hold a job knowing that I have mental illness like this in the same way as if I didn't have this to begin with. Um, my first job was in 2001, and I thought I was, sharp. I was in my primes. Um, I was only 25. Oh, excuse me. Um, oh, it's like midnight here. I was only 25 when I started that job, my first job. It was pretty cool. I got to learn the office life. There's politics, there's birthdays, there's, you know, all hands meetings, and the company had a park, you know, grass soccer field and baseball, um, diamond. So, the company was a good company. They took care of their employees. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was sharp in 2001 to maybe after 2004. After I was laid off from that job after 3.5 years. Um, and I think that was one of the conditions that may put people into a stressful situation and start developing schizophrenia. And so I after I got laid off, I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell my parents. I went. I kind of looked for another job real fast, so I found a job at Dresen in Garden Grove in 2005. Mm, yeah, and I didn't realize I was hearing things, um, but I was hearing things. I thought I was normal. When you live your life and you don't hear anything, and then you start hearing things, you don't realize it because it's so gradual. It's like boiling. It's like sitting in a hot tub. When the water gradually gets warmer, you don't know until you get roasted. Um, when the temperature goes up high. But if you are outside of the hot tub and you jump in and the hot water was hot, you jump right back out. So that's how it is in life. When you realize when you don't realize something and you that happens to you gradually, you just thought it was normal. So you didn't think it was a problem, but you kind of like you know deal with it. So that's kind of bad in a way. When you hear voices, you hear command voices, which is especially kind of bad if you're in the military. You can the voices can command you to do stuff, um, like kill people or things like that, hurt people. So yeah, I joined the military um, about 6 months, or no, 9 months after I started that job. So I left that job and joined the military. But before that, I was going through film school. I took an actual 3 semesters of film school at LACC because I wanted to go into movies. I was so excited that after I lost my first job, I was so excited because it was my opportunity to go back to film because when I was in high school, I actually got background acting done, in Hollywood, uh, at a handful of TV shows. So that kind of got me started in acting in the 1990s, I think. It was I'm not sure when, but I think I was 17. So I was in high school. So that was probably 90, 92, 93. You know, I um, I was on Seventh Heaven. I was on Jag, Power Ranger. So it was kind of cool. I kind of got to see how movies and TV shows are made, and ate at the craft tables, and it was always full of food and good food and snacks and stuff, free food and drinks. So yeah, sometimes I feel like I just want to go to work just for the free food and free snacks. But yeah, I was fun. So that kind of got me started in film. Um, and then it wasn't it wasn't I was in the military. I started hearing things, and I was like, wow, I had to avoid it. I keep on avoiding it. So I got tired of the command voices. I keep on sounding off, and I say things that I was talking to myself. Because every time a voice tells you something, you kind of have to respond like yes sir, no sir, and I kind of got tired of it, and I started not to respond to the command voices. So I started not saying yes sir, no sir, sounding off. That's what it means. start sounding not sounding out to the command voices. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's a whole process. If it's very hard to explain, I don't have time, and I don't want to explain about everything in detail. But it's a trial and error. Living with schizophrenia, you kind of discover yourself in a different world than you were before. So you kind of have to do trial and error of what's real and what's not. So you kind of have to um, check off each item that you think is normal but is not normal in the real world. So so does that make sense? You start hearing things, start believing in things that is not real, but you have to go through certain um episodes in your life, um you know to it could be anything. You can have an argument with someone, or you go to a psychologist, or psyche, or psychiatric psychologist, or psychiatrist, um and talk to them, and they'll say, yeah, this is true, this is not true. um but the problem about that is, a lot of the psychiatrists and psychologists wants you to be on your meds. So when you're on your meds, you shut your brain down. You can become really slow, mentally. um your reactions very slow. You might talk slow. You gain weight, your lifestyle changes. um but you don't hear any voices. So you don't have any problems. Everything's fine. You're on your meds, and you don't hear any voices. So everything you see and hear is real. But but that also means you don't have no reason to go to psychologist or psychiatrist anymore. All you do is just take your meds, and then you're fine. So that makes the job easy for the psychologist. So, they're getting paid big bucks, but they're not. They're just sitting there, and you're fine, and you're just talking about the flowers and how beautiful the sun is. So there's no problem. Um, there's no need to go and talk to anybody. So because there's no problems. But from my point of view, the psychologists and psychiatrists are paid to fix your mental thoughts. So by doing that, the person has to experience the voices, and then also make a correction, and realize that some of the things that they believe that's not real can be checked off as not real, so they don't listen to it. Do you know what I mean? Um, what the military or our system does is, you go to see a shrink or a psychologist, but you have to be on your meds. But I'm saying, when you're on your meds, you don't have any problems. So there's nothing to talk about. You have to you have to be in a situation where you hear the voices, because when you have schizophrenia, the problem is there. You have to discover the problem. You have to discover what's wrong with your brain compared to the real world, and check it off item by item, so you can go by your life without having to take meds for the rest of your life, and say, oh, my brain now believes this is true, but I checked I checked it with the real world, with a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or your friend, your mother, your dad, your children, whoever. they said that is not real, so I'm not going to believe it now. That's what the system needs to do. They have to observe the person and find out what are the things that they believe are real that is not real, and make them see and tell them that is not real, so they can mark it in their brain that it's not real. So when the voices come back and say things that is and that you thought was real, and then you another part of your brain will say, no, that I heard that before, and that's not true. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to listen to that. And that's how you go on with your life without taking meds. And this, after you discover all the problems your schizophrenia has has become in your life, in your brain. Once you go down the list and figure out everything that's wrong with your mental illness, you can you the good part of your brain that thinks, um that runs your body, can decipher the information and say these things here and here are not real, so I can ignore it. That's how you live a life without taking meds if you have mental illness such as schizophrenia. Because taking meds, you sleep all the time, you gain weight, you're slow, you can't think as fast as a normal person. Um, you have to say you have a mental illness in your job application, and people shun at you when you say, oh, you have schizophrenia or mental illness. So I don't want to say that when I meet people, because it makes me feel like I am inferior. It makes me feel like I'm weak, and I can't get the job done the same way another person can. And after being hospitalized 3 times, um, I learned something new every time, because every time I'm hospitalized, I believed in something that is not real, and then I just got my integrity just I just lose it. I lose my integrity. I get nervous all over. My nervous system acts up, and I can't control myself. I shiver. Um, Sometimes, I mean, one time I was in the hospital. I didn't calm down until maybe 3 days, and then I stayed there for like 2 weeks until I got out. So that every time that happens, it's because um, nobody told me something I believed was real, or I mean, not real. So that's the problem. And I know I'm supposed to take my meds, but if you take your meds, what if your meds run out? What how are you gonna live with yourself? If you have to take meds forever. I know we live in America and there's endless supplies of medication from the you know pharmaceuticals companies. But you hear stories like they just make all this medicine because it makes them money, and you gotta take it. So, but I don't want to take this meds because it has side effects, and the side effects um, makes me lesser of a working person. You know, I I don't. I'm probably considered less of a professional, so I don't get enough jobs or a steady job. My relationship with my coworkers or my boss is different if I claim I have a mental illness. So a lot of people in my situation, goes through the same thing. So um, and I want to take my meds and just kind of just not work and live in a poverty life. It's like, if you don't work, you go on disability, you stay home. And no, I'm 40. I'm in my 40s. I know, but I don't want to act like I'm retired. I know I'm semi-retired. I I I I do claim that I'm semi-retired, but I'm not retired. I'm not going to stay home and just mope at home and you know not go out anymore for the rest of my life. And oh, I have a fiance, and I want to have a family soon. I know. I mean, you might think, oh, I was coming from a mama boy like me, but no. I mean, I'm 40, 46, 47 now, so I'm kind of getting tired of being single. I my mom is a senior now, and she's an immigrant, so I kind of have to be around, but I'm kind of getting tired. I got to move on with my life. But anyways, I've done a lot. I made some movies, and have some books, and I'm gonna focus on that, and make some money selling the products, the properties. That's my goal. That's my goal now. But yeah, I mean, I'm on meds. Um, I'm on meds when I need to. I'm not gonna put up with anybody telling me that I have to take my meds every day. I don't care. Um, there's side effects. I don't like the side effects. Um, I want to be a normal person. I want to fix myself. See, I gotta do this myself. I gotta fix myself. Tom has to fix Tom. You know, I haven't seen a psychologist in so long because every time I go in, I just think it's a waste of time. You pay the psychologist, or the VA pays the psychologist, but then she wants you to be on your meds, and then you're not hearing the voices. Why do you need to go to talk to them for? You want to go talk to a psychologist because you want to fix your problems, your voices. The psychologist, that's their job. To hear the stories and fix the problem, and tell the patient this is not real and this is not real. They got to put up with it. They can't just they can't, that defeats the purpose of having a session with a psychologist if you're on meds 100% of the time and not hearing voices and not having a problem. Why would you need to come in for? That's just a waste of time. Anyways, that's living with schizophrenia, and I've been living with schizophrenia for almost 20 years now, since 2004, and I've been in the hospital 4 times. So I hate it every time I go into the hospital. It's a waste of time. And this last time, ruined my credit because I had bills to pay, and I need to go work. But I was brought into a hospital against my will. You know, and it wasted my time. They wanted to keep me there. And what for? I mean, I don't want to live in a house and waste my time. You know, I'm a I'm in my 40s. I I I can control myself. You know, uh, and this last time the police took me to the hospital because I was just waiting outside my mom's house. But anyways, that's a whole situation, different situation. I don't want to discuss that. But it was very embarrassing. Um, I was moving back from New Orleans, and I was gonna stay with my mom. And the police came and arrested me and took me to the hospital in front of everybody. So and I didn't do anything physical. I still got cuffed in the back. He could have just asked me to sit in the squad car and why do you need to cuff me for? What did I do? I wasn't physical. So I don't know if the officer's going to complain about that, but or is that standard procedure? But you know, I didn't feel like I needed to be cuffed, and he put on like two. I don't know why do you need to put on two cuffs? Was that like dangerous? I was just sitting in my car. Anyways, um, that's a different situation. I don't want to discuss. But yeah, I experienced America. I went through the military. I went through the hospitals. Um, I I I just want to tell people. I mean, be prepared. When you're young, you think your brain is not defective, but you when you discover it, it's going to be hard, to realize a lot of things. So, um, if you're watching this and you discover you have mental illness, you want to reach out to me. Um, yeah, go ahead. I'll sit and talk to you. I'll do that. We have a problem. You have the same problem, schizophrenia or bipolar. I'm not sure if I'm bipolar or not, but uh, everybody can be bipolar because that's the range of your emotion. You can be high and be low. It just depends on the situation. But schizophrenia is hearing voices, and I'm just tired of it. I wish I never had this problem. I mean, I don't want to say everything I hear on the air because it's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna accuse a lot of people, and these are some people are in high places. So I got to keep it to myself. Um. Anyways, so that's me with schizophrenia. I'm not sure if this is a natural thing, but doctors experiment on people. So sometimes doctors make people have mental illness because they're experimenting on people using I don't know, electronic devices you don't know about. They might be using. It's um it's hard to tell if this is natural, but sometimes you get problems because somebody's giving you the problem, and then you have to live with it. I don't want to say who or what, but that's just the world. We live in a world where people do things for profits. Like the pharmaceutical companies, they just keep you on the sick list so you can buy the medicine. Anyways, I hope this video goes viral or spreads on YouTube. Um, so, like I said, Uh, if you want to contact me, go to 10earth.com. 10earths.com. Um, and go to my website, tomluong.net. You can go to my under contacts. You can send me an email. So, anyways, until then, until I have a bigger following, uh, I'm just gonna express my mind. In my 40s, so I maybe I have. I just feel like I have things I can share to the younger generation. Okay, so yeah, it's been a good show. It's 12:30 right now, so I'm gonna hit the bed. So talk to you guys later.